Man, Tiny, it's been a crazy year already.
Yo, we are live,
That's right.
man. As we do every Sunday from 6 to 8, we come right to you right in your living rooms, live in the living color and living stereo and everything else that's living because we live in. Thank y'all for allowing us to walk through Northwest Austin Council. It's DeAndre Rudis, Steve Robinson. Multiple ways to interact with the show, man. We got the YouTube, we got the Facebook, we got the Zoom, whatever is most comfortable for you. You know what I mean? Like you tap in, how you gonna tap in? If you're on the Facebook or you on the Zoom, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe so you can keep up with this whole show that we doing. We doing this every Sunday, literally. So we're gonna come to you 50 times. Well, I was gonna say 52 times, but maybe 50. Honestly, because we skipped 1 week last year, you know, and we might skip another one. Who knows? You know what I mean? Holidays are coming up. Well, not coming right up, but you know.
Yes, it is.
When the holidays
King
come
holiday is coming.
Facts. That is what 17.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Dang. That's why I'm off work tomorrow. yes. Anyway, man, as we usually like to kick it off, man, what's going on with you, Steve?
Oh, we got to get it in. It's time to get this year started. It's been a slow start, but we got to get it pushed through. You know, as I was saying, Dr. Martin, let's just be clear. Let's be clear on who we are talking about. The Honorable Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, he's earned all of those titles. So we should be able to enunciate and pronounce and say his name to the fullest. His holiday is coming up tomorrow, and it kind of slipped my mind a little bit because of the way things have been going the whole year. But we need to pay homage and acknowledge the struggles and things that he's done for our nation, for our people, for everyone. So with that being said, tonight's show will be interviewing someone that actually met Dr. Martin Luther King, the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that would be Tiny Evans. Tiny, a.k.a. Allan Evans, a.k.a. Tiny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He'll be finishing up his story, his second part of his story this evening.
Yes, sir. Hey, just a quick question. Hey, Tiny, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so you can see me and Steve face.
Yeah, small, but yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Them two little boxes too small for you.
It's small, yeah.
I bet.
I know who you are.
Nah, you good. I want to make sure. I'm trying to give you a comfortable view. I'm just trying to play around with it because we've been trying to get the stream with the Zoom / the StreamYard thing going proper. So I feel like I got it, but the only thing is I'm gonna have to change it. So what we'll anyway. So
go ahead.
Yeah, let's
we doing it.
Let's let them go ahead and continue going forward.
No, we're gonna time in a minute. Let some more people get in, get on.
Yeah.
You know, we're just doing a little brief intro. That's all.
All right, bet. Let me see something, man.
That's all. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's gonna be better.
DeAndre,
yeah.
I would like. Do I see like my Jahari's window?
Yeah. You know. I'm sorry. What about Jahari's window, sir?
Okay, like so. You hear my story?
Yeah.
Do I seem like that person?
Well, all right. So I'm a different case, right? And I say that because being a psychologist, I don't look at people for what they present, right? Like everybody has different facets to them in my eyes. So I would never judge you based off what you show me, because I know that we all have different insights, different sides to us. You know, I can only go off how you treat me. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So so I have a different perspective with people that's in front of me. You know, so yeah, what I will say is this though. It doesn't sound like your story is unique, only in the sense that most of us have these backgrounds, you know. It's very rare that you run into people that don't have a background that sounds something similar to yours. right? Like, I'll give you an example. Steve is a person who doesn't really have that type of like that type of upbringing. So when I'm talking to him, it'd be a little different. I'd be like, oh, okay. I'd be like, damn, man, I wonder how that would have been if to have never had to experience this or that, you know? Because like Steve probably was like one of the only people that I talk to on a consistent basis whose story doesn't sound like, you know, like, man, I grew up in the hood. We was like this, we was like that. I had to do this, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We were in there. We just
Right.
weren't in the kicking in the doors like that.
Yeah, right. Which is dope. I listen. Anybody that didn't have to have a hard knock life, man, yeah, that's all good because a lot of times it don't amount to a whole lot anyway.
Charles just tried to call me.
I'm happy to hear your story and how you were able to adapt and be different. You know, because not too often do you get that. Man, you don't get that not too often at all.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I really appreciate you guys giving me a chance to talk about my story and make me remember and make me think about a lot of things, you know?
Oh no, we had to. We had to. We gotta, and I think that's one of the things we want to dedicate this year to is really getting people up here, man, with some stories. In fact, I ran into a cat. Matter of fact, my mentor from the school put me in tune with him. He's 42 years old, so he's still young. He's only been home for 6 months, and he did 15 years in the pen. And he's since rededicated that energy, got his associate while he was in working on his bachelor's. He actually goes to the same school I go to. We just in different programs, but that's how we were able to connect. You know, so I actually want him to come on and share his story. I think once we start, one of the things like Barry consistently talks about, like his Peacebrook situation, is this whole story, this narrative. You know what I mean? And I think it's very important for us to understand where people from our communities are coming from. You know, we want to be able to, like I said, as a psychologist, I'm able to look at people and recognize the all of them. You know what I mean? And not judge based off, you know, certain instances. Unless it continues to happen, then that's just who you are. But otherwise, you know, but I think other people could benefit from hearing because we got so much good feedback from people listening to your story and was able to relate it to themselves. Like, you know how you was like, I hadn't got into any trouble, anything like that. One person was, that really tickled her. She was really excited about that. She's like, DeAndre, you don't understand, because she had a similar experience where she dealt with some street level situations, you know, that was probably in her opinion fun. Adrenaline rush was up, you know?
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So people can identify with that and they really, you know.
One tap.
Oh yeah. Let me I'm still trying. I want to figure something out.
Go ahead, do your thing.
I want to figure this.
Giving people an opportunity to chime in.
This is what I want to figure this out. Let me see if I could. How is this gonna look? Oh, okay. So it ain't gonna look right.
Charles just tried reaching me, so he called me on the FaceTime. I don't know why he called me on the FaceTime.
That sucks. I was trying to see if maybe.
Yeah, I couldn't get in there. I got to update my iPhone information.
Let's see.
Wow.
Ew.
That was me. But it's weird. I'm on here 3 times. This, that.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
What's the third one?
The phone. The other phone you tried to log into.
Oh, I'm in there?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I see you 3 times too. You got that phone, you got that over there, and then you got another one that's just blank, which is probably that other phone. Oh man, come on! I need. What am I trying to do here? Let me take this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me stop sharing this screen. All right, bet. I'm gonna do that, and then Diana need the one tab, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
wild.
So, Tiny, how's your New Year been so far, sir?
Oh man, it's been great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah. It's really good. You know, the older I get, the more I enjoy life.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what plans do you and the Peacemakers have? What are you all working on?
Well, let me see. I had wrote down some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. You know, we got a veteran, another thing that we do a couple of times a year over at the Jesse Brown. We're going to do that again. We're trying to do some housing, some senior citizens for veterans with the land that Reverend Williams had over at the Sunrise Church.
Okay. That was
you know, of course, I'm trying to work with climate change, and I need to talk to those people that you have who deal with solar.
Yeah. Did you ever reach out to them?
I never got the information.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Oh, that's probably why I didn't get it, man. I'm terrible with that, you know. But if you'll send it again, or send it again, would you? And, you know, we're trying to do a gospel program where we bring different church groups together, different people in the community. We're going to have an outdoor chess club this summer. And, you know, we do fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Bet. Sounds like a plan then.
Got a list, a laundry list together, right?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
I'm still not understanding. How is this possible?
Yeah. I bet. That's cool. Okay. So what I was gonna say was you should probably connect to the Zoom, and that way we could do a share screen from here, and then we could blow it up because it's gonna be small on their screen if I had to do it. So let me see.
I'm telling you, I don't think it's this.
No, you're gonna do it on that.
No, I'm saying the third person. It's not. I don't know where it's coming from, unless it's coming from.
Here, let me see this. Let me put this thing. Where is it?
What? Hello.
Okay. What is this Zoom?
Who's on the line?
Hey, Cora. Hey, Cora. How are you? Give me the iPhone. That's small.
The small.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I'm finna do. I'm finna program this thing because this is how we're gonna be able to do this moving forward. So I figured it out now. So let me just get this going. What is this one? Who we waiting on, Steve?
Just more people tune in, and then I don't know if the congressman's coming. He's probably will be. We want to get a little bit more audience, but
Yeah.
But let's just talk about some of the current things that are going on. I'm sitting at the DeAndre seat for some odd reason, but I can say there was an individual that was shot on Mayfield in the 1600 block yesterday about 1 o'clock or so. 24-year-old man. We hope that he's doing better. And it did happen under the police camera. So
Oh wow,
hopefully they'll have someone.
that's crazy. So you saying they brazen enough to just shield, do whatever right in front of the
It was right up under the camera.
No respect for the law.
Yeah.
There's no respect for the law.
Now listen, hold on now. Now, when you was out here wilding as a young child, did you have respect for the law?
Me?
Yes, sir.
No, I definitely had no respect for the law.
All right.
He's just making sure.
Yeah, I just had to make sure.
Or they just don't have any idea that these things are out there.
Nah, people are aware, man. It's like this whole social media thing. People at this point, if you didn't know that social media could get you in trouble, then you know what I'm saying? Like you,
Yeah.
either you just, I don't know. I mean, how do you explain it? It's like you should know. You should know.
Yeah, you should know.
Come on, man.
But it just tells me what's the point of if you're putting the cameras up a lot and you're not
that's
getting
true
any,
too.
what's the camera really supposed to be there for? Is it supposed to be there just to deter, catch the images, just to record, or what? We put this new technology out, but we need to have a better idea how it works and what is it, and audit how effective it's supposed to, it's going. So I don't know. I got some ideas because they got shot spotters, they got cameras, and I'm like, only thing you don't have is something that could just get on the spot real quick.
Man, so
Now those shot spotters, whatever, they don't work.
You don't think so?
Huh?
Yeah, they work pretty effectively.
Well, I saw a thing on TV where they were saying that most of the calls aren't answered.
Oh, so
it's not effective. They're not effective.
Oh, but they could, but they do work they locate it. They do locate.
Yeah, they do work. They let you know.
But there's
but it goes off, and if you don't get a response to it.
Well, that's the same thing I was saying about the cameras. You taping, you seeing what's going on live, but there's nobody there to remedy the situation at the present. It's always after the fact. So that's the question. How does that work? Is it supposed to work like that? You get the sound, you get the video and the sound. My thing is, why can't we have somebody there or something there?
I wonder would Ring cameras be more effective than those cameras?
The
Ring cameras.
I mean, the Rings seem to.
Ring.
They pick up everything.
Yeah, I like the Ring.
They pick up everything, and then they pick up. But the thing is, it loses some things also because it's only picking up what's in a 45-degree angle of what you posted up against. So you got to have a Ring camera in every house almost to get the whole street.
Let me share my Ring experience. I told you, Steve. I have, in my backyard, I got a table with an umbrella on.
Okay.
And so somebody jumped over my neighbor's fence, took my umbrella, went out the gate with it. I got all of it on Ring, and Ring had it on Channel 7 the next day.
Oh, wow.
I called the police when it was going on.
Uh-huh.
I told them what happened. They didn't send anybody out. This was like about 11:30. They sent somebody out about 1:30. He didn't have any car. There was no way for me to get back in touch with him. And it was just a waste of time for him coming there.
Wow.
He left, and about a half an hour later, they came back. I called. I said, man, they came back. They came back to get the base because they just took the top of the thing. I ain't hear nothing. I stayed up all night. 5:30 the next morning, I called. They told me a policeman had come by there. I said, well, why did he knock on my door? I'm the one called.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. So it's not, the ring is good, and those cameras in the alley are probably good. Those shots are probably good, but the police do not respond.
Right. The coverage.
That's happened to me.
So that's what I was saying. I think we got something to detect the shots, which is the sound. We have something to see what's going on. I wonder, do cameras pick up sound also? I don't think so. I don't think they pick up sound. But the thing is, where's the backup? Like RoboCop. Where's backup?
Right. Right. You know, that's the problem.
So we got a few people in now. I'm just a little concerned. What time we got here?
6:20.
6:20. We'll give them 2, 4, 5 more minutes. Tamika, you got some questions? Because I know you wanted me to answer some things. Hello?
Were you talking to me?
Yes, indeed. I was saying that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to raise my volume up because I hear you very much.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me
Hold
now?
on one second. I'm gonna grab my earbuds so I can hear that. Hold on.
Wait.
But yeah,
Here?
we need to get that coverage.
Can you hear me? Can you get yo? I say
Testing 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1.
I cut you up a little bit.
There you go. That third video disappeared also.
Third video?
I mean, the third person. Remember, I was in 3 times.
Oh.
I don't know how.
Probably it was the other phone.
It never got through because it kept saying you need that.
Oh.
Anyhow, so anyway, Tiny. Yeah, Charles. Yeah, that's my man, Charles. I forgot his last name. Odom. Yeah. He tried to call me on FaceTime, but I don't know what his dilemma might be.
I'm ready whenever you're ready.
So you were saying, Tamika, you were saying you wanted me to ask a couple questions. You still want me to follow up with those? Because we have the illustrious Allan Evans on the phone on the Zoom right now. So.
Well, I did that. But if you're not able to be with the people, you have to come to me on time.
Okay, there you go. Well, I'm gonna do that off the air so we can do it the right way. Definitely. All right. Mm-hmm.
Hey, so Tiny.
Yes, sir.
So we wanted to focus this session or this show on questions from when you were sharing your life story. There were people that wanted to really get some questions in, and so we want to focus like that, and then we want to move forward. I think we stopped at right around like the 70s. We never really got into the talk about Dartmouth and how you ended up going there and why and the result of that, and even some of your work history. A lot of people were curious as to what did you end up doing, as you started to become, an adult. You were still a young man when you left off with the story. So we want to get into all that, but as far as the questions though, I definitely want to kick it off with one particular question that I had in mind, because as I was replaying in my mind some of what you told us, I was curious as to you grew up in a 2-parent household, right?
Okay. Now, really, I had 2 families. My father's family, I had 4 brothers. My mother's family, I had 3 sisters and 2 brothers. I stayed with my mother during the week, and I stayed with my father on the weekend. So I had 2 families. I had 2 mothers, both my mothers, my stepmother, and my stepmother treated me like she was my mother.
Okay.
And my father never whooped me.
Oh, okay. All right. So therein lies my question. How is it that somebody who was so well taken care of and very much so loved, what was the impetus for you to be in the streets the way you were? What do you think? Like but more in depth than that, right? With a little bit of introspection, what do you think it was though? Outside of just, was it boredom? Was it a lack of excitement because you had such, like people cared for you? Like what was it that really drove you that way?
I had friends. I mean, I enjoy being with my friends. So I have family in the street. Like I have brothers and sisters from my family, my mother and father.
Yeah.
I have people in the street who were my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I hung out with my brothers in the streets.
So what are your blood brothers?
On the streets.
They were your blood brothers?
No, they weren't my blood brothers.
Okay.
We just had experiences that brought us close together.
Okay. I get that. Okay. All right. I was looking, that's what really threw me off, being that you were a studious kid, right? You were smart and you were loved. You had all of this love around you, and you still was able to fall victim in a way. And so I do get it though. It's more of like, it's like I almost feel like it's like FOMO, like fear of missing out. Where you was like, man, look like these guys over here doing some exciting things, man. Like this cool and all, but that over there look like this where it's at though. You was with your partners and they always was popping off, and that heart get the beat and that adrenaline get the ratcheting up. You're like, yeah, I need to keep that up, man. That was a drug in itself. You feel me? I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
He became a product of his environment.
Nature versus nurture. Yeah, right. The old that. No, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was a product of my environment, and like life just happened to me, and I just made the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, all of what I went through, I had a great time. I laughed the most. When I was in the fourth school, I laughed. When I was in College, I laughed. But I always had fun when I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love the streets, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
it's like that old.
Let me say this. People used to say, why do you hang with those guys? Because I was a high leader. They were officers, But they would do what I told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like they were influencing me. I was influencing them. I started my friends stealing cars.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that before me. I started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go to school. I started to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
They did what I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's evidence he was a leader.
Yeah.
I was. And people used to say, how can you be a leader? I don't know. But people would do what I asked them to do, what I told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me say this. When I was a little boy, I met Elijah Muhammad. I shook Elijah Muhammad's hand on 15th of St. Louis. See, people think that the Muslims started out there on Greenwood, but they started on the west side, on 15th of St. Louis.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
People don't know that. I shook Elijah Muhammad's hand, and I shook Martin Luther King Jr.'s hand.
Mm.
But when I met with Martin Luther King Jr., he was just a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't no big deal.
Right.
I mean, he was always a preacher, though. He was always a preacher. Like, even during the times of the Civil Rights Movement, he was still a preacher.
But he was saying that most people didn't know him outside of the ring.
Yeah, but outside.
Already took me over 71st and Normal to a church, and we heard Dr. King's speech that I had seen. And he talked about he was in New York in his late bathroom.
Damn.
And the doctor said if he had sneezed, he wouldn't have been here. And that's the first time I heard Dr. King speak.
Wow.
You know, he's just another preacher, you know. And I said, wow, thank you.
Oh, yeah, man. He was good. Yeah, he was good, man.
What was this at again? On 71st Street? You said, where did you see him at?
It was on 71st and Normal in a church. I don't know the name of that church.
Okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's what's up.
Wow.
Okay, now, let me go back to, you know, my friend, I got to take this time. I can breathe this time. My friend, Jimmy Wilson, when he went down to Selma with Dr. King there, now he told me that Dorothy Tillman was his girlfriend. I don't know about that. But he brought us to ABC.
Wait, you talking about the Alderman Dorothy Tillman or
I'm sorry.
you talking about Alderman Dorothy Tillman?
I can't say, Steve.
I said, what you talking about the Alderman named Dorothy Tillman?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And she was down there with him too. In himself.
Wow.
And so like so Wakati came over to the ABC and introduced us to James Batts, Ralph Blackman, Aaron Ross, called Chongo, Andrew Young. Now Andrew Young became a senator, a governor, something.
He became the mayor of Atlanta. He was an ambassador.
There was a white boy named Dave, James Orange, Al Sampson, and Sampson wasn't no preacher then.
Oh, I know that.
Jesse Jackson, he wasn't no preacher then.
Oh, wow.
You know, and Reverend Bethel and Dr. King. We met all of them at ABC. And they were talking about what they were going to do, what they were trying to do.
Wow.
And what do you mean what they were trying to do? Is this this
preachers, yeah, everybody celebrating tomorrow and stuff. None of those people would help Dr. King.
Wait. Let's backtrack a little bit. You said they were talking about. Are you referring to the civil rights movement? They were talking about what they was trying to do with that.
Say it again, please.
I said when you were saying that what they were trying to do you mean like with the civil rights movement? Because the time period.
They were trying to do in Chicago. See, in Chicago, we were doing a thing in open housing and education.
Okay.
So they were talking about what they were going to do. You know, how we were going to do it.
Okay.
And so we got him an apartment, Dr. King an apartment on 16th and Hamlin, Vice Lord City, because we knew he would be safe there. There wasn't no stuff about nothing happened to him over there.
Right.
But the gays were the people who stood up for him. Not these,
right.
I don't want to curse, but these people who are taking credit, not talking about how great he was. They didn't do nothing.
Right. That's offended.
Dr. King we had a rally in Soldier Field. And we filled up Soldier Field. I didn't even know there was that many gangbangers. I didn't know. And that's the first time I saw about Blackstone Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was so many of those guys. We went to a Soldier Field, and then we marched downtown, and Dr. King put some demands or whatever on City Hall doors. The people didn't do nothing. They didn't care about Dr. King. They just nothing.
You know, in your opinion, what was the reason why people didn't really want to help him?
We want to acknowledge him and say like he was saying what they felt. They were scared.
Oh, scared? Yeah.
They were scared.
Yeah.
And my mother called him a troublemaker.
Oh, word?
It's another word, right? She said he's a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's crazy, though. To really think about that in the terms of what he was trying to accomplish, which is create a revolution. He saw the need for change and really wanted to create revolution. And there were other black people who was just like, nah, man, you upsetting the apple cart. Why don't you just leave things the way they is? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I get it, though. I get it.
Is it crazy? or is it just what we do?
Man,
We doing it now.
yeah, man. When you scared, man. When you see, I don't know if Barry on, but I tell Barry all the time because Barry talk about this time in which we probably moving towards where we could look potentially like Nazi Germany or something like that. And I always tell Barry, look, I ain't scared, dog. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I can't go back to them times, man. I don't care what nobody say. They're gonna have to kill me. And I'm willing, I'm standing on that. Listen, I was at the 2015 anniversary of the Million Man March.
Okay, I went to that.
For Justice or Else. I was there. I heard Farrakhan say, listen, we need 100,000 black men that ain't afraid to die for what they want to see in their community. You feel me? Like the difference between what they were doing and what I'm doing is they were doing it more. They had more. I want to say they took more of a political position. I think for me, because of where I'm at, my age, I take a political position, but I take that political position as it represents trying to play nice. They weren't playing nice. You know what I'm saying? They really were trying to make change and be effective in it. You know what I mean? Whereas today, as a 30, soon to be 35-year-old young man with a lot of future in front of me, I ain't trying to burn bridges and mess things up. But there still comes a point where I'm a man before anything, and if anything was to impinge on that, then we're gonna have to scrap for that. We're gonna have to die for that, and I'm okay with that. I've already made bones with that. And every time I tell Barry something like that, he'd be like, "What about your daughter?" I'm like, look, man, we gonna leave her some money. Hopefully, her mama gonna get it together. But we, as a man, you ain't gonna be able to do me like that. I'm telling you. You ain't gonna be able to do me like that. You gotta take me out.
You mentioned the Million Man March. Now, Tiny, you went to both of the marches, the one in '95 and the one in 2015.
Let me see. I don't think I went in 2015. I won in '95.
Right. The first one.
Yeah.
Well, the experience in that was more like it was supposed to be atonement. The message was go back.
Baldwin told Farrakhan to do that.
Really?
About atonement, yeah. Baldwin told him that. That was Baldwin's idea.
You said you met Reverend Bells too. You met Reverend Bells.
I'm sorry.
I said you met Reverend Bells.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a student of Reverend Bells.
Okay.
Bevel ran against Bevel and Danny ran for the office for the Carter's College seat.
Okay.
Right. And so like at Bevel we got a third of the votes for Republicans. Bevel ran as a Republican, so we got a third of the votes. And we didn't do no campaign. Every once in a while I talk to some people, but none of the stuff like the politicians would do.
Right.
And we got a third of the vote. And Bevel did it because he could do it.
He ran as a Republican.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So I used to be a Republican. I was a black Republican. Danny knows Freddie Peasy. That's what's it called? Bobby Rush's stepbrother. Okay. The Republican. He was a state rep on the west side.
Right.
Freddie Peasy. Right. So the Democrats ain't always been our friend.
Yeah, black people were Republicans back in the day. Back in the '60s, black people was Republicans, wasn't they?
Yeah. When Nixon, black people wrong for Nixon.
Facts. So, what led to that movement from right to left? What was the ultimate change? When did you see that change start to really take place?
The Mississippi Democratic Freedom Party, Fannie Lou Hamer, The black people had no rights in Mississippi. They had no voting privileges, and she set up a group, and they challenged the white people, and they set them down in the convention. So black people started turning against the Democrats. Democrats wasn't helping us; they were using us.
Right.
Listen, I'll say they using us now. If you want me to be honest.
And I tell you, they got Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. Now I love him like all black people love him. I got to cuss one time. That motherfucker was no good. He's the one who, he gave us, what is that, 3 strikes? He gave us a whole lot of stuff when he broke our families up and put our people in jail.
Kennedy?
Man.
Kennedy?
And his brother,
You said Kennedy did?
John F. Kennedy. And his brother, Bobby Kennedy, did all kind of surveillance on Dr. King and tried to...
Yeah, Bobby Kennedy for sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I said, oh, yeah, Bobby Kennedy, yeah. Yeah, he was on that.
Yeah.
He was on that, yeah.
Yeah. See, they wasn't no good. I mean, but they did something for black people, but not a lot.
It'd be that whole 2 steps forward, 1 step back situation. Where the 1 step back be a giant leap.
Well, at that time, in the early part of the century, of the last century, there was the Dixiecrats,
Yeah, yes.
And of course, everybody that was black that came out of the Reformation and what do you say, post-Civil War, that they were definitely riding with Republicans because not Reagan, but Lincoln was a Republican. So that went on. That went on for about 50, 60 years, Probably more than that. Probably what, from 65 to what? 65? 100 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And y'all know what Jim Crow is?
Definitely know. It's the same thing as slavery.
Yeah. See what happened in 1877, the white people got together and said, we got to put these niggas back in slavery. Cotton is growing up, we need these niggas back in slavery. And so it was like the Republicans and the Democrats got together, and a Jewish guy named Levy, and they set up the Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow was like what do they call him? The guy with the white lips? A minstrel. Like a minstrel kind of guy. Right. And they put the laws, they named the laws after him, the Jim Crow law. And they made it so you could send a nigga to jail for like talking loud, laughing, not having ID, any kind of thing. They put you back in slavery. So now let me say this, I said nigga a couple of times. Now, I'm a nigga.
See, we ain't looked at too much different now. Don't get
I'm a bad nigga. Now you gotta tell me what trait comes to your man when you hear bad nigga. What's the trait you hear?
I think about Fred Williams.
Yeah, I think about Shaq.
Yeah, that's exactly Shaq. Fred Williams, Black Caesar.
But you don't think of nobody scratching their head and grinning.
No.
Right?
No.
Now, see, it's a difference. A nigga is one thing, but a bad nigga is something else. The white people don't want no bad niggas. They won't want nobody to be like you. They do you bad, they don't want nobody else to be like you. Kill them quick.
Equalizing the plan.
Okay? And so, like, I'm waiting for when I get a chance to tell white people that. Now, ask them, what are some traits come to your man about a bad nigga?
Wow.
See if they say...
Nah, man, they wouldn't even answer that question. They would not even answer it, and if they did answer it, wouldn't be truthful.
Okay.
That's the biggest issue that we deal with in America today. The fact that we can't have that conversation. We still haven't had that conversation. White people refuse to have that real conversation that's gonna let black people come up in that room and be like, when you hear the word, when you hear bad nigga, what you think about? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then, but at the same time, black people gotta be able to take them responses though, because them responses gonna hurt some feelings too. You don't really want to know how these people really feel about you, because once Trump got into office and he hit that dog whistle, and them people came back from out of hiding, niggas was like, what? Like, where'd this come from? Like, fuck you mean? It's been here. You know what I'm saying? So we got so you got to have that conversation, but it's gonna be so difficult on both sides. One side, we need y'all to keep it all the way real. One side, we need y'all to get out y'all feelings. If y'all really want to have a conversation, we got to have it.
Right. Now I've been on a couple of those uncomfortable conversations with the white people. I didn't ask for about the bad living, you know, but I told them, you know, because the white people told me who white people are.
Mm-hmm.
White people are white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Wow.
Those are white people. Italians are not white people. Jews definitely not white people. Irish not white people. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And I told the people on the meeting, you know, like, if you ain't a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant and you call yourself white, you passive. You taking advantage of the system. But you ain't white. And the white people will turn on you. They will. You be thinking you their friends, they will turn on you.
You know, numbers are the demographics for whites are starting to drop dramatically, and now, in order to keep the numbers up, they're actually trying to bring Asians into the fold so that they can create higher numbers. And Asians are saying, we're not white. But
yeah, close enough. That's what white people say. Close enough.
Right.
You know.
And you know,
like I think in Brazil, if you have so much money, you be white. Automatically. Huh?
You say you get your face on the money.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
hey, I wanted to bring Tamika in. Tamika, you had questions last week or a couple weeks ago for Tiny, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask some of those questions.
All right. Thanks for putting me on the spot, dude.
Oh, are you? I know you be in the background moving around. Is you busy at the moment?
I had questions for him, but now that I'm going to interview him, I want to save those questions for him.
That makes sense. That's cool.
You know, if you want to reiterate the ones I had already asked him, like what was the changing factor, what was the shift, and he told me it was because of, you know, he met a girl, you know.
Yeah.
And now that I talked to you guys, I guess there's a little things I can talk about. Anyway, now that I heard more about his story when you was asking him questions earlier, now I see how he was able to make that shift. You know, he was a product of his environment. That's why he was doing it. But once he met her and she showed him a different way of a different behavior from which she was goals in the world, that's what made that shift. So it was easy for him to transition back to, you know, a person of society.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So and this is the one question that came back to me. Did you marry her?
I did.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Hit the brakes. From what I recall, he said he met 2 girls.
Yeah, I did. I had 2.
You got them right now? You got a bundle right now?
No, I don't have. I'm married to somebody else other than those. Now I married my first wife, and we have a child. And I had another girlfriend, and we had a child. So I had 2 girls pregnant at the same time. And man, I'll tell you, that was really heavy. I didn't know what to do. And I asked my father, what should I do?
He said, take care of them damn kids.
He told me, don't do nothing.
Damn.
Don't do nothing.
Yeah, we can't be laughing at that.
No, that was great advice.
say,
know what?
pay the cost
I
to be
just
the
want to
boss.
use that from a female perspective. What do they call those? They call them ghetto twins. Is that what they call it when you have two babies that's close proximity in age?
No, I never did. I don't know. I don't know about that. But you know, my friend talked about Wakati, Jimmy Wilson, who was Dorothy Tilton. He had two wives together, living all in the same house.
Wow.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad did as well.
And they were proud. They were proud to be his wife.
You heard me? I said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did as well.
Yeah, he did. But a great man have more than one woman.
Talk on it. Speak your speech.
Right. Now, I'm gonna say something else. Like Malcolm X, again, I love Malcolm like a brother, but he was a traitor. You know, he came in and tried to take over Elijah Muhammad's group, a religious organization. He tried to make it a civil rights organization. And that was wrong. And what's wrong with Elijah Muhammad having 6 women, 12 women having kids that people don't know about? If people know you got kids, the enemy will attack your kids. You can't let them know all of your children and stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
All great men have more than one mom.
Talk!
Now, Elijah Muhammad said you could have 7. But if you wise, you'll have 1.
Because if you have 7 women, you got 7 unhappy women.
Now you gotta figure out you gotta take care of. Yeah, you gotta figure out how to take care of them. But you know,
you gotta pay the cost.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay that cost.
I'm love being the only woman in this one. I'm just gonna sit down and listen. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I got stuck in this stuff. I'm not.
It can happen. It can definitely happen.
That's just there. Well, I'm just saying what I feel like. Everybody don't feel like me.
Yeah, for sure.
Most men feel like you. Trust me. Most men feel like you. Trust me. I grew up with. I'm in a family with a 6. With only 2 girls. And my mother's family, she was in a family of 16, and there was only 4 girls. So I got to see things from a different perspective because that's what I was around at the time. My nephew, he teased me all the time, and he said, "Auntie, you're the manliest woman I know." Because I don't see it the way most women see it. I see it what I saw growing up. So I'm going to sit back and listen and learn. That's what I'm going to do. And know.
Okay.
Because it's rare that I get that to be the only woman in the room. And if y'all have a question for me, feel free to ask. But right now, I'm going to be quiet and listen.
I got a question because I'm trying to figure this out. Why do women want to rule men?
Facts.
Because I'm 22-year-old.
Oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You going out of coverage.
I think it's the internet. My 26. What did you say?
You breaking up again. You going out. You gotta make sure you go next to the Wi-Fi.
Baby.
Get back next to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Look it. God must not want me to say it because I was kind of talking well first.
No, you went back out again. It sounded like you going in and going out.
Every time I stop talking, he go out. But my daughter said it's like doing themselves.
Men don't like what?
Doing nothing themselves.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. No. You said she's 22? No, listen. You said she's 22, right?
Yeah, she's 22.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Listen. If she's 22 and she ain't messing with no dudes that's like up in age, probably in their 30s, If she fucking with young dudes that's in their 20s, then they don't know shit whole time. More than likely they don't. You know what I'm saying? To be completely real with her. Because like where we are with this generation, I don't know who's teaching who. Like women ain't cooking no more. They barely cleaning the way they supposed to. Fucking they always talking about nothing. Like it's come on, no. And this is from a 34-year-old man who's like, no. I don't know. No.
That's the man's fault. That's how these men let them get away with that. Women know they're supposed to cook and clean up and stuff.
That's offending. That's offending though. That's offending. Now you talking that talk. That's offending though.
But it don't matter. They'll do what they're supposed to do if the man just be a man.
Now, but look, all right, now you got to break that down though. So what does that mean though?
It's a stunning sight. Thousands of packages stolen right off of cranes. If your UPS or Amazon package hasn't arrived, it might be somewhere.
Okay.
What you say is, and they won't just say, "Oh, okay, they're gonna do it." They fuss, complain and stuff, but they'll do it.
That's true. I give you that.
That's part of the problem. Like, I was watching today, a documentary about how Robert F. Kennedy experienced Martin Luther King stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And one quote that he said in the movie today that I understood, because that's the way I like, is that people do not deal with reality well. He's like, they try to put all these twists and turns on the way reality is. Now, you ask, why do women want to tell me what to do? It's because they're not showing us that they're doing what we need to do. So that's how we feel like, okay, we know you want to stop, but we got to help you navigate that. But when you don't do it on your own, if you don't listen to us, they leave you in the background. Always talking about what somebody did to make you look at on your own to make yourself look good. So that's why women are trying to say, okay, if he's not doing it by himself, well, maybe I need to fight. But then when he don't want to listen, actually a woman, where is left after that?
Look,
and my place ain't supposed to be
look. The thing is, it's
if you bring home the bacon and I'm not working, providing for the house, then yeah, I can benefit. You and I'm working, I have my place in the kitchen.
But you the wife.
So, but if the husband can take care of me so I can cook all the time, and I'm working and he's working, and I can cook the house.
Well, now, and you can ask my wife, and she probably is that. You know what? Like, I worked, my wife worked. I come home, and I get in the bed, take a nap. My wife come home. I said, "What you gonna cook?" She said, "Cook? I just been working all day. You at home laying in the bed, and you expect me to cook?" I said, "Yeah, I do, because that's what your mother did. She worked and then came and took care of 6 or 7 kids. And cooked.
Good for your wife. Good for your wife.
And she was really mad at me. But I just turned around and looked the other way. And she went down and cooked. You know? So she didn't want to do that. But I'm a man.
But I think, but even, you know what?
She won't do it.
So I will say this though.
Let me say this.
Yes, sir.
I was at a block party. And so, people be out there talking and stuff. And these women, this woman was telling her husband, "You gonna mind me. You gonna mind me."
No, see, we can't do that in public.
They was all the women talking, "Yeah, these men don't want a man. They don't want a man." And I didn't say nothing, but I was wondering, why do they think that men got to mind them? Why don't women think that men grow up? Why do you think that we still kids? They the mama. They know more than we.
Facts. That's a fact.
I don't care.
It's a fact.
I don't care how many degrees you get. you are not smarter than your wife. No matter what you know, you don't know as much as her. Now, at 77 years old, that's really true for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever my wife say, I say, okay. Okay, you right. Only thing I get on her about is cooking. I don't want to hear no stuff about you don't feel like cooking. I don't want to hear that. Just cook. And you can fuss and do whatever you want.
You got a good wife, cause when to me, you was the TV dinner.
See, but that's crazy though. So here's the deal though. I believe in today's society, there's changing roles, period. You know, in fact, the lines of roles are so skewed and blurred that it's going to take the individuals in that relationship to talk about their relationship and how they want it to be, right? Because, for instance, I cook more than my lady do. You know what I mean? But part of it is that I'm a creative individual, so I cook out the box things, recipes that she ain't never had, that I ain't never had. So I like doing that. You know what I mean? But there are times though where I don't want to cook though. The problem is when I don't feel like cooking, then and I ask her to cook, she don't want to cook at all. And I'm not. And the thing is, like, I ain't the guy that's gonna argue with you because I got a lot going on. You feel me? So you know what? I'll figure it out. But or at least I'm gonna go cook. But the problem is like, at what point do you, what point do you, as a woman, be like, man, let me help him because I see what he's going through and what he's doing. Like, I think women should be able to appreciate their man in terms of what he's doing as well. Because what we get into this mode where you got to be doing the right thing. You got to be saying the right thing. You got to be being the right thing all the time. Where it's like nobody does that. That's not possible. You know what I mean? So it's like, at what point do you be like, let me, for what he does and is capable of, I love that about him, and I want to make sure that I'm not the same burden on him that the streets are. Because one thing about black men, we are at the very bottom of the totem pole. Nobody can deny that. Nobody can deny that. We're at the very bottom of the totem pole. And to come home and then have to deal with your woman after being the bottom of the totem pole all day, bro, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Can I speak for a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the key problem in this is communication, right?
Yes.
When you're in a relationship, if you can communicate with each other, talk to each other, and then have the ability to be vulnerable with each other, that's the key. Like, if you can talk to your woman and she really down for you and she your woman and you tell her, look, if I don't feel like cooking, some days, I need you to cook, help me. And that day y'all go out and get my food. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other layers to things. The problem is that people don't stop to think about alternatives. They see the basic thing that they decided they was going to do it, and they don't open themselves up for transition and change. So that's just my personal opinion. Like, but I haven't been in like a relationship like that for a long time because I haven't found anybody to match my energy. Y'all see how I am. I'm be quiet sometimes, so I can take the time to listen and absorb what that is talking about. But if I got something to say, I'm gonna say it. And in my personal opinion, I found a lot of negative things I mean, because I'm gonna tell them how I think, regardless of how that makes me feel. But I'm always looking to listen and try to be understanding to whatever's going on. Like, for me, when I was married, my husband, he did everything but cook. And my skill was cooking and his skill was cleaning. So I did all the cooking, he did all the cleaning.
Okay.
That's how we made it work. But we still got a divorce as he was drunk. That's a different story.
That's a fact.
Okay. Yeah. So But I marry people too. I'm a minister, and I tell people when I marry them, no two marriages are alike.
Mm-hmm.
This nobody else got what you guys got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's real.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Riveting conversation.
You want, huh?
Say riveting conversation. I definitely want to make sure that we circle back and start getting a little bit more insight into your life.
Right.
So let's get back to the 70s, right? I think you were still in the reform school. So let's talk about you. You talked a little bit about getting your behind whooped up, you know what I mean, and getting punched in your stomach a bunch of times. I think that's kind of where we left off at. So I want to talk. I guess was Dartmouth following this period in your life, or where does Dartmouth come into play at?
Okay, so let me go back and say one thing.
Okay.
That my big brother taught me when I was a little boy. He told me in order to be successful, mind your own business, close your mouth, and get out the way.
Facts.
Okay, that's what he told me, and I've added to that forgive, because you got to know how to forgive. But if you mind your own business, close your mouth and stay out the way, people still gonna mess with you, you know. But that'll help you be successful in most things you deal with. Now, we're going back to civil rights part of it. Like you say, I was in St. Charles. I went to St. Charles. Me and some more guys, we stole a car and was going to try to shoot this guy named Henry Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that Henry Jordan was already in the army home when we got there, and I wouldn't let the other guys jump on him. I came in with 3 or 4 guys and some other guys there who I knew, and I said, we better not fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Henry was a prince in the Vice Lords. Mm-hmm. Like Pepperlo was the start of it. Henry was like a prince. Mm-hmm. And so when Henry left the army home, he went to St. Charles before me. When I got to St. Charles, I went to Harding Cottage, which was the Vice Lord Cottage, the toughest cottage in St. Charles. Mm-hmm. I had no problem because Henry, who was a prince, had said I had saved him.
Yeah, he put the word in.
I had no problem with the guys there. I told you how I got put on work detail. I had an asthma attack, and the basement man put me on work detail, and I almost died. And they had me shoveling coal, but I lived through that. I'm just going over it quick because I said it once before. And now God has always been in my life. When I was in Johnny F. Reception Center going to St. Charles, I was in my bed crying and pleading, saying, God didn't do it. And God came to me. Not Jesus. God came to me and said, you did it, Tiger. You know it, and I know it, and you going to St. Charles. But I'm going with you. And when I was there, I did my work detail. 90 days, I never complained. I just did it because I had did what it took to get in the jail. So I wasn't, And then one day, I never forget, I came in and Mr. Walters, the cottage parent, told me that I had set the cottage on fire. And he choked me and threw me on the floor. And he was going to kick me. The basement man pulled him off me and told him he don't smoke. He don't smoke. The guy who set the cottage on fire was smoking. I didn't smoke. And that night I prayed, God help me. Because I tell you, my mother hadn't come to see me. I've been on work detail, and this man was trying to kill me. And other guys in there, bad guys, juvenile delinquents, was feeling sorry for me because they said, they're going to kill you, Ty. They're going to kill you. And then I got my cottage parents and the cottage parent of Buchanan, the best cottage in St. Charles, had a disagreement over a pack of cigarettes. And he said, my cottage parent said, if you don't give me my cigarettes, I'm going to send Evans over there. And the man wouldn't send him to pay him the cigarettes, so they sent me to the best cottage in St. Charles. And so, that was God. I attribute that to God. Because one day I had no future. They were talking about killing me. I was on work detail. The next day, I was in the best cottage there, the kitchen cottage, wearing whites, carrying my commissary card with me, totally new. I had plans, supposed to go home. My life had changed. And then, because I had been on work detail all the time, other people there thought I was bad because I was always on work detail. But I was on work detail because I had an asthma attack. But anyway, people thought I was bad, and I could tell people what to do. And this is one of my faults. I had a savior complex. I thought that I could save people, help them. And they told me, I came to work and they said, Tiny, they're putting us on bones. I told you how that went. We did it for 3 days. Me and the guys fought. It looked like I was winning because I hit him in the face, but he hit me in the stomach and the ribs and stuff really hurt. And the last time we had a fight, he really fucked me up. When y'all see me, I'll show you on my eye. Now, this happened 60 years ago, but I can still show you scars on my eye where he busted my eye open. Had my face all swollen up. Couldn't taste no food. And they said, well, you're gonna get some more time for this. And then Ken Williams, the disciplinarian, said, no, let him go home like that. Let the people see him. Let them see what happened to him. And they let me go home like that. Now after I got home, then Henry got out. He was tight. And one time, it was like this vice lord named Crazy Lord slapped my cousin. So I chased him down like on St. Louis and 13th. And like Venus, Henry Jordan's brother was there. And Venus told me I wasn't going to beat no vice lord. And he said I had to go through him. And I said, no problem. And before me and him could get into it, Henry Jordan came up and got between us and said, nah, y'all ain't going to fight. And he was facing Venus. He wasn't facing me. He said, nah, y'all ain't going to fight. And when we went back down to the ABC, the boys club, and it was like maybe 50 vice lords out there. And this guy named Son was out there. He was a leader. And he asked me what was going on, and I told him that this guy had slapped my cousin, and I was going to kick his ass. And he said, no, you ain't going to kick no vice lord's ass. And he turned around and slapped the guy and said, we don't beat no bitches, something like that, And it was cool. And then one time, a lot of stuff happened at the ABC. We had a pool table. We had 2 pool sticks, no tips on. And you had to sign up to play pool. So I came in the pool room. It was Bear, a guy named Chuck. They were shooting my next game. I signed up for it. Then this vice lord named Tex came in. So Tex, first he looked at Chuck. Then he went and slapped him. Then he looked at Bear and he slapped him. Then he took all the pool balls, knocked them off the table. Then he came over to me and pulled his hand back. I popped him in his mouth, I hit him in his stomach, I took the pool stick and broke it on his back. He was down on his knees. I started stabbing him in the back with the broke pool stick.
Damn, man.
He crawled out of the room and down the stairs. He never got, and I was there. And people told me, uh-oh, Tiny, you done dead tonight. That was Tex. He'll kill him. He gonna get you. I said, yeah, we'll see. A couple of days later, me and my partner, Andrew, coming down St. Louis, and Tex and about 5 other vice lords came behind us. We stepped back. They came back. Tex said, hey, Tiny. I said, hey, that was that. And I found out, I knew a long time ago, if you whoop somebody's ass, they ain't coming back. You get them right the first time, they not coming back.
Yeah, that in that era. Yeah, in your era, it's different now. Oh, it's different now. You do that now, you getting blicked up.
And it is different. Let me do a sidebar. Because we were talking, we used to have sessions over at Reverend Rice Church.
Mm-hmm.
Where we brought the people in, the kids in, played basketball. We fed them, and Reverend Wright talked to them about Jesus and stuff like that. And we talked to them about life. And I was telling to the young girls how you have to stand up. You know, if you stand up, then they won't bother you no more. And this little 12, 13-year-old girl said that her friend had stood up to the bully, and one of the bully's friends gave her a knife, and she killed the little girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's different.
Yeah, it's different now. It's different. It's definitely different now. You could have definitely back in the day did your square up thing, maybe circle up, you know, and get y'all licks off and go y'all separate ways, hug it out, whatever the case. Oh man, it's so different now. You really gotta put, man. The ego's so fragile. You know, it done got even worse now. You know, as the world around us has become more PC and people have learned how to deal with their emotions in some of the most violent ways. I mean, that's where the uptick come from, man. People's egos are so easily bruised now. Can't take that ass whooping no more. You ain't gonna take it no more because you're gonna come, man. It's ugly, man. And then the advent of social media did nothing but heighten that, you know, because now everybody gonna see you getting your ass whooped because everybody gonna flip a phone now. So it's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly, man.
Hey. Yeah.
So when you came back home, Tiny, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Say again.
So when you came back home from the correctional center, what happened after that?
Well, I came back and they had told me to go to continuation school, but I didn't go there. I went back to Harrison and talked to the disciplinarian who I knew from getting in trouble, and he let me back in school. He let me back. Huh? I'm sorry, can I say something?
No. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So I went back to Harrison. He said that I can go back to school, but I couldn't go to gym. I had to go to ROTC. And so I said, okay. So I went back to school. I went back to ROTC. And I had no problem with ROTC because I knew how to take orders. I know how to take orders, and I know how to give orders. So I had no problem. And then after about, I guess, February, that's where I went to the county jail. You know, messing around out, guys going out robbing. Got picked up, taken to the Fillmore police station, beat up real bad. And then they took me to the county jail. And I was handcuffed to a guy named, I can't think of his name now. Lawrence Johnson. And so he had been in the county jail before. He knew how I went. So we just took it on. Again, God came to me. Because I was thinking, I'm a criminal. I do well in jail and stuff. You know? And God told me, he said, no, I got something else for you, Ty. And I said, I can't do nothing. I ain't got nothing. He said, you got to know. George Harry Comerford gave me a 31-day sit-out and a year's probation. My probation officer was at 26th in California. I went to Harrison on 24th in California. I used to walk from Harrison down to see my probation officer. My probation officer told me that he can give me a job working at night from 11:30 to 7:30 in the morning. He told me forget high school. It's a good job. I didn't quit high school. I stayed in high school, and I worked 11:30 at night, 7:30 in the morning for my last 2 years. And so when I graduated, I was lieutenant colonel in ROTC. I had a car, and I had one child. So I graduated. I think I was 19 when I graduated. And so then that's when Decmo and Power Pitts came to my house one morning. I had just got off of work, working all night. And they said, man, they hired at International House. Come take us out there. Mo knew about the job first. So I drove him and Carl out there. And instead of, while I was waiting on them to take the test, I took the test too. I passed, and me and Carl got the job. Mo did. And we worked at International Harvest. So I worked on line 56. I used to do auto motors. And so a guy came to me and said, they called me Youngblood. Youngblood, you want to get in our caucus? I said, what's a caucus? They said, we wanted Norm, pointed to the guy, we wanted Norm for the president of the union. I said, okay. So we ran him, and Norm won. He was the president of the union. So all of our caucus, we could pick our jobs. The best job in the plant was in the janitor department. So I was a janitor. I could wear street clothes to work. I had to clean up the toilet. But that's all I had to do, clean the toilet, wash out the bar, and walk around the plant. And I had a closet, janitor closet. And so after my girlfriend told me that she was going to Crane Junior College, and if I wanted, if I wanted to be with her, I got to go to school. She didn't want no factory man. I signed up at Crane Junior College, and I used to study at work because I didn't, I had a good job. So I took a class. The only class I ever failed in college was a speech class I gave at Crane Junior College. It's 1964. They said, talk about something controversial. Everybody was talking about the Vietnam War. So I talked about civil rights. And I started giving a speech, Malcolm X, the Ballad of the Bullet. The teacher turned red. He told me, that's enough, Mr. I said, no, I'm just getting started. He said, no, you finished.
I love, as a side note, during, during Black History Month, that's one of the things that I like to do. Martin Luther King's birthday, I actually like to listen to his speeches. And during Black History Month, I like to go and listen to a lot of the Black leaders that followed, that came before me. So Ballad of the Bullet is one of my most favorite speeches of all time. And I listen to that a lot. Love Ballad of the Bullet.
I never heard it before.
Malcolm X, Ballad of the Bullet. Got it, man. And the thing that I hate about listening to those speeches, they talking about the same thing that's going on right now. And you got to think these speeches are from 64, 68. And they talking about the exact same thing in the exact same way. That's the only thing I don't like about listening to them. But I love the way they orate. I like the strength of the message. But it's the same thing. And then it gets to me. Because I'm like, damn, we still here? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. History repeats itself.
Yeah. So I failed that class, and I went to the president or whoever was in charge of the college, and they told me, yeah, I said the professor could do anything he wants. If he failed you, you fail.
Yeah, for sure.
That was it. And then later, they changed Crane Junior College to Malcolm X College.
Mm. Is that the same Malcolm X where it's placed right now, or is it different?
No, it's different. It was on let me see, what is that? Oakley and Congress. It's like Crane Junior College. I mean, it was Crane High School.
Right.
And behind Crane High School was Crane Junior College.
Right. Okay.
Right. So it started there, then they changed the name and had the new building built.
Can somebody put the name of that poem that was just, or the speech I was just talking about in the chat, so I can look it up, please?
Could you do that, DeAndre?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, let me see. So I got out of county jail. I went back to Harrison. I graduated. Now, Jimmy Wilson, Wakati Hill, had went down south while I was in school and working and stuff, and they got involved with the civil rights movement. He came back with Dr. King. I told you how they had the thing at Soldier Field and Watch Downtown, and they wouldn't do anything. And so they started a riot down on Ashland and Roosevelt over a fire hydrant. And so the police out west got us together. Now we were part of the program.
Tiny, it wasn't just a fire hydrant, was it? I thought a little girl was killed or something.
No, it was a fire hydrant. It was like the kids turned the fire hydrant on, and the police turned it off, and the kids turned it back on. And then they started, when the police tried to make them put it out again, they started rioting. And so it was down east, and they said it was coming west. And so they got us together in the park. Let me see, I was at that. Let me see, Wakati. He was a brave, but he was also with SCLC. Tupelo was a vice lord. Peanut was Roman's Bank. These guys started that. Henry Jordan, the big time vice lord. Giacomo was a brave. Carl Pitts was a Egyptian Cobra, and I was a brave. And we talked. We had all the guys got together, and all of us talked to see something, you know. Now I was talking about peace, something to calm down and stuff. Carl Pitts, he was maybe 5'3", 5'5", 120, 30 pounds. Look at, but very fiery. And I don't remember everything he said, but the last thing he said was burn this motherfucker down. And everybody ran out of the park toward Roosevelt and started breaking windows and stuff. And I said, oh Lord. And we had got them there. We were supposed to be stopping them, and now they had went out and started rioting.
And what was this a result of? This was because of what? And what was this because of?
Because the same thing happened now was happening then. They were shooting people in the back.
Okay.
Police brutality. The police brought it on. Because of the way they was treating the people. And the people were fighting back. That's what it was about, the police fighting with the people. And it just escalated. Yeah. But we found out that it was more of us than it was them. We knew it and they knew it. And they didn't know. That's when white people started saying, what do you want? What do you want? And we want the same thing that you want.
They still asking us that same question today. Same fucking question, man.
Yeah. So, but in those days, it was something around the whole United States where they were thinking about they had mistreated black people. And now gangs is not the same as it was then.
Right.
Back in those days, gangs were misguided youth.
Right.
Now they're criminals. I've been in the newspaper, I've been on the radio and the TV and stuff. They wouldn't do that to, I was a misguided youth.
Yeah, but I mean, even gangs started as a representation of the power struggle.
I'm sorry?
I said even gangs started as a representation of the power struggle between the police and the community. The gang started so that the community could have protection from the police, but also to be able to help the community in various ways, right? Well-known Black Panther Party is the one that started WIC. They took that program and instituted it government-wide so that the community could depend on the government and not themselves, right? The gangs are violent today because they came in our neighborhoods and said, here's dope, peddle it to your people. They create, my thing be, man, anyway, we're going to slide to something different. Go ahead, I'm sorry. We're going to slide to something different.
Okay. But I agree. And that's something I'll never forget a white man for. Putting drugs on us.
Right.
That's the worst thing. That's worse than slavery. That's the worst thing he did to us. Put drugs on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen it destroy whole families.
It did. I mean, it killed the generation. This generation, like the generation that my mom is, I don't know exactly which generation. My mom is 50. 50. In fact, my mom was born in 73, so she'll be 50. Damn, in next year. She won't even be 50 till next year. The generation prior to her mom, them. So it killed my mom's generation. It killed them because they didn't even have a chance, and that's why a lot of the youth, like right around my age, is having other youth that's running around here doing all this crazy shit. Because that was the impact. It wasn't felt for that generation that had it. It was for the generations to come. My mom's generation, my generation, and the generation under me feels the direct impact of those drugs.
Well, what he's speaking of is Gen X. I think that falls between 65 and 75 or something. Or maybe it may even go to the early 80s.
Yeah, Gen X, yeah.
But the Gen Xers, they were the ones that got they took the bulk of the drug problem, because that's when crack came to be prevalent in the 80s. And his mom was probably at that time, 15, 16,
right.
17.
Right.
And crack started hitting really hard. Now,
and it was their parents that was getting it. It was their parents. Their parents were getting it.
What? Whose parents? Your mom?
My mom's parents, right?
Was getting the crack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was affecting them first, and then it went to their generation.
Right. Because it really, a 15, 16, 17-year-old in 1987, when crack really hit Chicago.
Right, you ain't doing no hair run and nothing at that age. Yeah.
It's the people that's 25, 30
right, that
was really doing it.
Right.
And those individuals ended up with kids that were being taken care of by their great, well, it wouldn't be their great grandparents, it'd be their grandparents. Well, and we had that generation between 95 and 2000 or something that pretty much took care of the grandkids, because the parents were either incarcerated or passed away. Because one thing, I know a parole officer, and he told me his job was to go and check on people that got out of jail. And he said he did this for over 25 plus years. One thing, when they built all of these prisons, and Reagan and Bush Sr. built all these prisons on the proverbial war on drugs, was to put all of the drug users in there. But the problem is, he said that within 10 years, if people that were strongly into those drugs, crack, so to say, their immune systems die. And they eventually die. He said, that's why you got all the empty prisons now. So, it's an epidemic. know, when we look at it, when we look at the history of it and all, how's it going like this? Is yours going out?
No. Oh no, that's the no man. Good. That's the internet on this. Which one you got connected to the internet?
I don't know. But anyway,
That's the internet.
I think is there anybody there? Can you guys see? Let me go back to here. Somebody's got the dishes going or something.
Miss Berry.
Okay. All right, let me go back on because for some reason I'm getting reverb. Check the little box.
No, I'm good. Tiny?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tiny back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, all right. So time running out. Let me get the doc.
No problem.
So we had this riot in '66. The police knew that we had started it, and so it was a guy named Fingers who was Peanut's cousin, and Fingers disappeared, and so they said that the police had killed Fingers, and they were gonna kill us. Now, when I went to Dartmouth, me and Henry Jordan, we were working. Let me go back a little bit. When Central Y opened up on 19 South LaSalle, they took me, Pepolo, and Trip from the Sacramento Lords. We went down to 19 South LaSalle and became college students. We worked for the CYC and YMCA, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so our work study job, we got $125. So when we went to this meeting, they said, we want you to be successful in college. What can we do to help?
Mm-hmm.
Me, Pep, and L.Z. Williams said, we need money. So they told us to go over and a lady named Hilda Fink. Because you come down and see Hilda every Friday, and she will give us a check for $125. And then, you know, like now, juveniles, when they go to court, they have lawyers. They didn't have that nowadays. I worked with the project called the Research Guild, and we interviewed guys before they went to court and after they came from court to talk about their experience. So I was making like $125 on one, $125 on, and $200 with the Research Guild. I had accounts at Baston, Linton's, Marshall Field, Brittany Limited, you know. So I was doing well. I had a car. I was doing well. But they were talking about killing us. So we had a meeting.
Who was that? Who was talking about killing you?
Huh?
Who was talking about killing you?
The police. The police, because we thought they had killed Fingers. And we thought they were going to kill us. So we said, well, but I said, fuck it, I'm going to Dartmouth. Because DeWitt had came and told us about it and how we should go and all that kind of stuff. And so I asked DeWitt, could I go to Dartmouth? He said, yeah, y'all all could go. All y'all could go if you want to go. And so Henry said he would go. Mo said he wasn't going to go. LD said he was going to Lawrence. And Carl wasn't going. So me and Henry went to Dartmouth. Now, they wrote about it, so you can read about us going up there. But it wasn't exactly like they wrote. Because they wrote it like it was a program. It wasn't no program. They didn't even think we could make it. They made no provisions for us. They had it where we had to stay in a secret, an honor society called Caste and God. I have a friend, Robert Wright. Now, Bob used to be, I think he was over the Department of Transportation with Kennedy. So we went casting gauntlet, and like all these are the smartest guys at Dartmouth. And so being Henry in there, first they had like a $10 bill they left on the table, like we were gonna take $10. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have these meetings in the basement. They let us go in, and they sit around, tie towels around their heads and stuff, and smoke weed, you know. And they took me down to a dam and gave me some stuff called Mr. Wakana. I never had nothing like that. Went back to the dorm, man, and really studied it. See, like, they knew they were doing marijuana studies while we were there. And they were talking about designer drugs. So they knew about indica and sativa and what it would do to you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love me a
And
sativa. I'm
a
sativa man myself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm a sativa man myself.
Okay, well, I like all of it. But I never smoked weed. I think I smoked one joint before I went to doctor. I didn't smoke no weed, but up there, man, I smoked weed, I took acid, I took speed. I mean, I did everything.
When you made it to college, right? You said in college?
In college, right.
Oh, yeah,
now,
man.
check this out. Now, when me and Henry went there, they told us that you don't have to do what everybody else do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else take 3 classes. You only have to take 2.
Mm-hmm.
We took 2 classes. They gave us the Baldwin reading program and a Carol in the library. That's what the program was. And so I used to go to a library maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I stayed until 12 or 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Not 5 days a week, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I worked just like I had a job. Because I would have to hear what they tell me, put it in my language so that I could understand it, and then give it back to them in their language. Now, if you hear me talk, I sound like I came from down south, right? I certainly don't seem like I'm educated at all. And this was not by accident. I did not try to improve my diction or speak better because I knew I was coming back here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. When me and Henry went out there, man, it was like one day we realized that we could make it. We knew we could do the work and we could make it. And the white people up there were behind us. They would help us with whatever. We were making it. And man, we sat down and we started thinking about that. And then we started thinking about the ghetto and what we had left. And we said, we got to go back. We got to go back.
You had to go back home? You said you had to go back home?
Yeah, go back home. Come back to Lawndale. You know? I mean,
what was pulling you back home? What was pulling you back home though?
Oh man. I love Chicago. I love the West Side. I used to come home every month.
West Seal Folio.
Huh?
I said West Seal Folio, West Side for life.
Do what?
I said West Side for life, West Seal Folio.
He's talking that off the street slang.
So let me see. Now, so we did a casket garden and to see if we could do the work. And when we did the work, they said, wow. Yeah, because at first everybody said, you won't make it. They said, we could buy anything we wanted up there. Just go to the store, sign our name, and put Tucker Foundation behind it. Okay. And we had all kind of darker clothes, stuff, all kind of stuff. Because they didn't think we were going to be there. Then we passed the classes. And they said, okay, y'all can stay. You know? And so we moved from Captain Gauntlet to Tuck Mall. Now, the thing is, if you look at that article about foundation years, and they talk about Dartmouth. Dartmouth is beautiful, all green, but in the wintertime, all white of all snow. But beautiful. It's in the middle of the valley. Everybody's friendly. They didn't lock their doors. It was just really a great place. Anything you wanted to do, you could do. I mean, white privilege, the epitome of white privilege. First class all the way. Okay? And so then, let me see, we're Tuck Mall. And so my girlfriend called me up and said, Tiny, listen, if you don't marry me, I'm going to marry somebody else. And I said, oh, Lord. And at that point,
put you one of them choices on you.
Go to France. You know, if you had to take the language and study and take a test, or you could go over to the country and live for a semester. So I was going to France with Henry. But Barbara Jean said, no, if you don't marry me, I'm going to marry somebody else. So I said, okay. So I married her. And we had a big wedding, open door church on 13th and Sawyer. And I had like white people and black people in my wedding. And one of the guys, Bob Grossman, who gave us money to go to school, he was standing there, and somebody had busted somebody in the head. They ran over by with their head bleeding, stuff on in their head, you know, at my wedding. So, but we went on. So then when I got back to Dartmouth, since I was married, we moved into married houses. I lived in a place called Satan Village, about 2 miles outside of Dartmouth. So I had a car, an old Ford, but I got rid of that and got a Peugeot. Y'all ever heard of a Peugeot?
Of course.
Huh?
Yeah, they meant Peugeots.
It's a French car.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I heard Peugeots.
Yeah. So I had a Peugeot, 1969. I bought a brand new Peugeot. And then I had it 2 years and it caught on fire. They said those cars will catch on fire, but mine did. I told the people at the car dealership, you white people just fucking with me. Y'all know that car burned up. And I threw the keys down. I ain't paying for it. I left. I didn't pay for it. I went down and bought me a Mercedes. I think a 64 Mercedes. The dean told me, said, Tiny, I don't drive a Mercedes. We don't have no financial aid students driving Mercedes. You can't do that. You know, I had a Mercedes.
Man, how was you able to afford a Mercedes?
Huh?
How were you able to afford a Mercedes?
How was I able to do what?
How was you able to afford a Mercedes?
Oh, man. All you needed, I think $500 down and maybe $100 a month.
Oh, that's
that was
different.
it. I mean, this is 1969. I mean, it wasn't expensive.
Okay.
You know? So, but I really spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. And so my wife told me, she said, listen, you go down there and find out what class to take to make money. That's what we did.
Real.
And so I went down and asked Professor Webster, what class do I take to learn how to make money? He said, Tiny, we don't have classes like that. We don't teach you how to make money. We teach you how to manage money. I said, manage money? I ain't got no money. I went home and told my wife that. She said, that's it. We out of here. We came back to Chicago. You know, we were going to California, but we stopped in Chicago, and I got a job, and then one thing led to another, and I stayed in Chicago. But that was how I came home. And then, like, I came back. I didn't have to come back. When I was, before I graduated, a guy named Bob Delaville came, and he was with a law firm in Michigan, And they told me I could come and work for their law firm while I went to law school, and after I finished, I could be a partner. So I could have been a lawyer. I worked for Pete Morgan Mitchell, auditing banks and insurance companies. I went to school at night at DePaul, studying for my CPA. So I could have been working for Pete Morgan Mitchell. American Can Company gave me money to go to school. They wanted me to work for them. I could have worked for them.
Wait, so what was the career? Did you ever have a steady 20, 30-year job type of situation? Did you make a career out of anything, or you just kind of did your thing?
Well, I made my career, I guess, would be in education.
Okay.
I've always taught people how to read. When I was a little boy, I taught people how to read with comic books. I used to teach at the city college. I taught GED, ABE, ESL, and literacy. When I taught GED, nobody passed the GED. When I taught literacy, I had maybe 20 people pass the GED test, because the GED test is a reading test. If you could read, you could pass the GED test. All of that studying and stuff, learning all of that stuff, don't mean nothing. It might not even be on the test. You know, you got to read to pass it. And when I taught people to read, people pass the GED. And I wrote a book about the 5 phonetics skills called How Words Were Created. It should be coming out sometime this year.
Nice.
That's good. So,
looking forward to that.
So what? Huh?
Say, looking forward to something like that. That's what's up.
Yeah, and see, so when I came home from Dartmouth, Pete Morgan Mitchell, they hired me. They hired me when I was at school, and I told them I was coming home. They sent me money to buy suits and stuff so that I'd be properly dressed for it, and some stipend money. So then when I came home, I had summer. I could do whatever I wanted to. I had money, I had clothes, I had a job coming up. And then I got a job at State Farm as a claims adjuster, just doing something. And that was a great job. They gave me a car. I could give people $1,000 to settle an accident, you know, and I only had to go into the office one day a week to turn in my paperwork. But I had to leave that job because I had took money and stuff from Pete Morgan Mitchell, and I had to go work for them. And when I worked for them, that's when I just got fed up with it. Tired of talking small talk all day with them whiteys, and the job very boring. Oh, the days were so long, I couldn't take it, and I quit. But when you quit at something like Pete Morgan Mitchell, it ain't like no bad thing. They said, well, this didn't work out for you. Let's see what's a better fit for you. And I went to a place called Oasis up in Evanston and took a lot of tests about, you know, what you want on your tombstone and what did you accomplish, you know, all kinds of stuff. And they said accounting was the last thing I should be doing. I was a people person. I should be working with people. So I got a job at Tri-Faith Employment Project. Y'all ever heard of that?
No.
Tri-Faith Employment Project was the 3 faiths, the Christians, the Jews, and I guess the Arabs. I never met no Arabs. But it was Tri-Faith Employment Project. We had sites on Pulaski and Madison, 16th and I don't know, the 16th or something. We had one in Uptown. We had 6 sites all together, and we had an office downtown. I used to work downtown. We had an office right in front of the Art Institute. And so, great job, really great job. And I messed around and quit that job. You know, it's the most stupidest thing I ever done. Al Rabbit was the best boss. He was a great man. And some kind of way, he told me to do something, and I didn't do it. And he said, "You ain't gonna do it." I said, "No, I ain't gonna do it." And he said, "You're not gonna follow my direction?" I said, "No." And he said, "That's it." And after I said that, I wanted to say, "Oh, Al, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean that." But I was too proud.
Too proud, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I left that job. And I told Al Raby about it. And he got me a job at the South Shore Bank. And I told y'all about that, how the loan officer was making bad loans, and I had to collect them. I told the president on it. Huh?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, I was in collections, and I would have to go out to these homeowners who had work did and make them pay us back for what the work had been done.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go out there and I would see that the work wasn't done. I don't blame the people for not paying, you know, but I tell them, you still got to pay. I see what he did, but you still owe the bank. So you have an obligation to the bank. And I'll make him do what he's supposed to do. And I went and talked to the president, like I say, and he made the contractor fix the property like he was supposed to fix it, you know. And the loan officer did not like me after I did that. I didn't care, you know. And and then after a while, he fired me. It was cool with me. I was tired of working. He fired me. And that's when I went into the car business. Let me tell y'all this one real quick. Mm-hmm. So I was riding on the L thinking, what could I do? And I saw all these cars going by. And they had these stickers on them that they had just been bought. You know, they have a temporary plates on them. Mm-hmm. I said, damn, I think I'll start selling cars. And so, make a long story short, I went and got a job. First, I found out how to buy it at the auction. Then I got a job at State Lincoln Mercury, 27th State. Burrell Burns, he hired me. You work 31 days, then they give you a car. On my 31st day, he called me in and said, well, you're a good guy, but you can't sell no cars. So he let you go. I said, thanks for the experience. And so I went out and I started taking people to the auction and buying cars. You know, they give me $500 to buy any car you want. So I was doing that. Let me tell you this one. So Nancy Jefferson, y'all know her? Heard her name?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I was selling cars, taking people out to the auction. So her son, Robert, wanted to get a car. So he said, okay, I want a Chevrolet Photo. I said, okay, no problem.
But Nancy Jefferson, let's go back to Nancy Jefferson. She was the president of Midwest Austin, right? Steering Council.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
Mid Austin.
So I took Robert out to the auction. The cars are coming fast, real fast, you know. And see, so white guys don't really buy nigger cars. Cars, the Cadillacs,
right, facts.
Big lights on the front and the thing, and they don't buy it. And so I think Robert said he wanted to spend $2,500. Cadillac like that came through. He jumped up. He ain't supposed to be bid. He jumped up and bid on the car and won. Hmm. So I said, okay, man, come on, give me the money so we can pay for the car. He said, I ain't got the money. I said, what you mean you ain't got the money? I told you you had the money when we come out here. We buy the car. I ain't got the money. We gotta go back in the city. So he crying just like a little bitch. I don't know, y'all may know it. But he crying like a little bitch.
Charlie, what year was this?
Huh?
What year was this?
This was like, I don't know, 80.
Yeah, it had to be around there, because when you mentioned Nancy Jefferson, I knew it had to be in the 80s.
Yeah, okay. So he tried to jump out of the car one time while I was pulling back. I grabbed his arm, held him you know. And he took me over. We went on Central Park, and what's that place up there with Jenkins, Aaron Jenkins, them had Family Focus or something. There's something, but it's a place on Central Park. So we got over there to the place. He jumped out the car and ran upstairs. And so I'm standing out front, and Big James came down. Big James, the vice lord. He came down and said, "Hey, Tiny, what's up?" I said, "No." He says, "I'm looking for somebody trying to rob Nancy Jefferson's son." I said, "That's me." I said, "He bought a car for me and I want to pay for it." He said, "Come on." We went back upstairs, you know, and Big James told us, "Man, you pay him his money." And the driver said, "Oh, call my mom. Call my mom." They called Nancy Jefferson. And he's telling us something about what I had did. And then I said, "Let me talk to her." Because I know. And I told her, "Miss Jefferson, this is Tiny. I have a business. I'm selling cars. Your son bought the car and he don't want to pay for it." She said, "Let me talk to him." I gave him back the phone. He was really crying. And there's okay. He gave me my money. You know? So I had the business, and we were doing real good business. Now, my partner, Henry Jordan, who I with all this stuff with, he came to me with a financier, a guy named Clarence, who worked for the post office. And Clarence had an accident and got some money and bought gold. Okay? And then gold went up in value, so he had a lot of money. And Clarence was a tailor. He made his own clothes, so he looked like a pimp. Because he wore pimp type shit. And then so he came to me, and so we said, "Okay, we'll go in together. We use your money to buy the car, and then we sell it and split the profits. And you can drive whatever you want." So Clarence drove like Mercedes and Cadillacs, and you know what he wanted to do. So he had a bodyguard named Charles. So, make a long story short, I had a body man, fender man. We used to finance our cars with insurance, not like AAA. We used things like that to finance cars with. And so everything was going real good. And then Charlie was arguing with a homosexual. Pulled his gun out on 39th and King Drive. Pulled his gun out, shot the homosexual in the arm, and ran away. He didn't know it, but the bullet went through the homosexual's arm into the restaurant and killed Clarence.
Damn.
He killed the only guy that could help him, his man. You know?
Damn.
And so he's
crazy.
thinking that they were looking for him for shooting the guy in the arm. They're looking for him for murder.
Damn. Hey, step time. Let me.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to cut you right there, man. Listen, that was all riveting. I do want to say this though. Long life of experience, man. I really do this a lot with the elders. I always like to ask them for nuggets, man. Like, give me a nugget, man. Like, what could you share with somebody, you know, my age and even younger about life? Something that I should be always taking into consideration.
Right. This is what I've learned. And I started saying this from the beginning. What my big brother taught me.
Mm-hmm.
Mind your own business.
Mm-hmm.
Close your mouth. Get out the way. That's my nugget.
I bet.
And forgive. Because, see, forgiveness helps you, and it don't hurt the other person anyway. You can hate them all you want. They do not feel it. They do not care. Forgive them.
Yeah.
Those are my nuggets.
All right. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up as we do every Sunday between 6 and 8. We bring you, you know, this type of content straight from the community. There's various ways you can interact, whether it's the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Zoom. finally figure out how to incorporate the Zoom into the StreamYard. So now everybody on Zoom can see us on StreamYard. So happy about that. If you are on the YouTube or the Facebook, like, comment, subscribe. That's the best way to interact with the show. We can see all the comments as they pop up. As we get ready to close, we typically go around the room and like to just hear some closing remarks from everybody that's tuned in with us. So I'm gonna start with the Zoom. You got who over there? It's
On the Zoom, we got Tamika still.
Hello, everybody. This was a very exciting conversation. Even though I'm sorry I sidetracked everybody with that female empowerment part.
Nah, we all good.
By the way, my daughter helped me edit your interview that I did for Everyday Activist, and she says hi.
Oh, hey, what's up?
So, the only other question that came to mind while I was listening to Tiny's story is that there was a lot of adversity going on with his, transition, trying to make it. And what I noticed is that when he was trying to be fair for other people, when he was looking for fairness, that's when he seemed to get in the most trouble.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say for now. I can't wait until we get this interview. I'm geeking already. I'm excited. So that will be fun. I don't know. Did we get to talk to you about the interview?
No. I was wondering what you guys were talking about.
Well, sorry. We'll let Steve handle that.
I'll clue you in, Tiny.
Okay.
Who else on there?
Barry, we haven't heard anything from you tonight, Barry.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Tiny, you're a fascinating guy. Thank you. Really enjoy hearing about your experiences and the lessons you've learned. And Tamika, I enjoyed what you said. I think it really that's a really important perspective. Is because I think we need balance. I think we need each other, and without each other, I think we're lost.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Bear, can you say something about the mental health Zoom meeting we had? Oh man, I'm really, really glad that you invited me. Jennifer and I forget her partners, the woman who they were both terrific. And I'm looking forward to talking to Jennifer this week. Okay. So I'll be following up because I think that she has a lot to offer us. And what I wanted to suggest to her was that she and a woman named Dale Kane on the South Side, who is into health and nutrition, that we have a Peacebrook Council for Healthy Living that would include mental health. Mm-hmm. So in other words, it'd be healthy food, exercises, and a healthy inner life, and healthy relations. So all of that. Okay. So looking for, I think it was great. I think it was so valuable, and many more people should hear it. So. Right. Okay. And so now we will have another session, and I'll get that information to you, DeAndre, and maybe you can let the people know. Yes, and I've already forwarded while I was on the Zoom call, I forwarded it to Bertha Purnell. I don't know whether you know her, and Raheem Young. No. Okay. Yeah, they're into that kind of stuff. Okay, great. Yeah. So the idea is let's spread this valuable information and bring it to the canned area. Right. And NAC.
Absolutely. So we have next. Someone's on the phone with 312. Venus.
Yep.
Did you call me, DeAndre?
It was me, Steve. Go ahead. We want to see what you have to. Anything you want to say before we conclude? Did you hear me, Venus?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you talking to me?
Yes. We were just trying to find out if you have anything you want to conclude with.
Yeah, I do. I wanna say this to Tiny. Mm-hmm. I'm in an organization with Tiny, the Peacemaker, and he is the president. So me and him spend a lot of time together with each other. But by listening to his story, I never knew he walked this type of life, because the life he walks now, he is so humble and so peaceful and so quiet. So I'm glad that I'm listening to what you went through, because God brought you all the way through. But I'm glad to be the person that I'm meeting and walking with now. Me too.
For sure.
And I was with the congressman. I was with the congressman last weekend, and he said, Venus, he said, I really enjoyed Tiny's story. He said, even though I knew a lot about it, he said, but I enjoyed listening to it. I said, Congress, I thought Tiny had just met you and was just coming around you when we started coming around you together. He said, no, I've been knowing Tiny for over 50 years. I said, well, he is a changed personality from that day. Well, thank you, Venus.
All right. And last but not least, Tiny gave us something already, right? So I think that was almost everybody. So I just want to say.
Well,
sure, go ahead.
Do everybody know about the Martin Luther King event that the Congress is giving tomorrow?
That's right. Let me see. You have the information, Venus?
It's on Zoom. So I could send it out. I just looked at it on my phone.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, but it's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Venus, you and I were going to go over putting events like that on the Peaceboro calendar.
Okay, then, yeah, let's set that up.
I have the information. So it says it says.
Yeah, we could do it once we get off the phone.
Okay, let's do that.
So
we'll get it done.
I have the information for the event. It says Danny K. Davis invites you to the 7th Congressional District. Salute to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday, January 17th at 5:30 p.m. And you have to RSVP via a link. So if anybody's interested, we can forward the link to you.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their time, especially you, my man Tiny. Your story gets more interesting every time I hear it. And I know you still got more, because you haven't even got to the point where you met Butch.
Yeah.
Butch Campbell. So.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Did you meet Butch at International Harvester when he was working there?
Say again.
Did you meet Butch at International Harvester when he was working there?
No, I didn't. I met him at the SIN program.
Okay.
With the SIN program.
Okay.
You know, Al Washington, Chicago Intervention Network.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I met Butch.
Well, that's it for me.
You know?
All right. For me, all I want to say is Tiny opened up and asked me about the Jahari window and how I might have viewed him, you know, in perspective of hearing his story. And as I told him, you know, being that I am a psychologist, I know that everybody has a story. And so I never take people, I take people at face value. I don't really consider all of the things that they have behind them, because if they're willing to share them, then that's when I'll know. The only way I treat people is by what's in front of me, you know, and how you treat me. That being said, I just want to say that everybody has a story, and a person should never be judged on the chapter in which you walked into their life, because that story that you walk in on at that precise moment has a lot of chapters that you never read. And if you don't ask the question about those chapters, then you cannot by no means judge the individual that's in front of you. So that's all I wanted to say. Like I say in closing. Yes, sir.
Let me say this, John Beck. You see what Cleveland said about me?
Yeah.
That's the image I want to project.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to project.
Nice. Yeah, as you should. As you should.
Okay.
As you should. So, like I mentioned, we do this thing every Sunday, 6 to 8. Various ways you can interact with us: Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. You choose the most comfortable option for you. If you're on the Facebook or the Zoom, like, comment, subscribe. Doing so is the way to interact with the show. And we always see the messages and we can put them up. So that's all I got. In closing, man, they did not want to give us a seat at the table, so we had to create our own. Thank you, everybody, for listening and allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, all.
Good night, all. God bless everybody.